There is a reason Jesus never led an army, a reason he never built a wall, forged a sword, or crowned himself king of an earthly nation. It wasn't because he lacked power. He could command legions of angels. It wasn't because he feared conflict. He confronted religious leaders and flipped tables when justice demanded it. It was because Jesus came to model a higher way, the way of peace in a world that only knew how to fight. Jesus didn't ignore war. He spoke of it. He used it as metaphor. He warned of its consequences. But more than that, he taught that before you fight any war, whether in the world, in your family, or in your soul, you must ask, is there a better way? One, blessed are the peacemakers. Jesus begins his most famous sermon, the Sermon on the Mount, not with rules, but with radical redefinitions of greatness. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God. Matthew 5:9. Not the warriors, not the avengers, not the ones who win at all costs, the peacemakers, the ones who step into the tension and bring resolution. In a world driven by pride, ego, and retaliation, Jesus declared that it is the one who makes peace who truly reflects God. To make peace means to build a bridge where there was once a wall, to calm the storm before it breaks, to say, let's talk, when the world says, let's fight. 2. Turn the other cheek. This is one of Jesus' most controversial teachings. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to them the other cheek also. Matthew 5:39. To the modern mind, this sounds like weakness. But in Jesus' culture, a slap wasn't just violence. It was insult, humiliation. And Jesus is saying, don't let someone else's offense control your spirit. Don't mirror their hate. You rise above. Turning the other cheek is not surrendering your worth. It's declaring, you will not define my response. I choose peace. 3. Love your enemies. It might be the most powerful and most difficult teaching Jesus ever gave. But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Matthew 5:44. Not tolerate, not avoid, love. Jesus calls us to do what feels impossible, to pray for the one who hurt you, to bless the one who cursed you, to forgive the one who betrayed you. Because hatred is a fire, and only love can extinguish it. 4. Put away your sword. When Jesus was arrested in the garden, Peter drew his sword to defend him. Put your sword back in its place, Jesus said, for all who draw the sword will die by the sword. Matthew 26:52. This wasn't just about weapons, it was about spirit. Jesus was showing us, you don't fight darkness with darkness. You don't overcome hate with hate. Violence might win a moment, but it loses the soul. 5. Count the cost. Before you fight, Jesus was a master storyteller, and in one parable, he describes two kings on the brink of war. Suppose a king is about to go to war against another king. Won't he first sit down and consider whether he is able with 10,000 men to oppose the one coming against him with 20,000? Luke 14:31. Jesus isn't giving military advice. He's giving us life advice. Before you lash out in anger, before you cut someone off, before you declare emotional war on someone who hurt you, count the cost. What will this battle really take from you? Will it leave you empty, even if you win? Jesus taught that peace sometimes begins not with power, but with perspective. 6. Make peace on the way. Jesus gave practical wisdom for conflict management. He said, settle matters quickly with your adversary who is taking you to court. Do it while you are still together on the way. Matthew 5:25. In other words, don't wait for the battle to erupt. Don't wait until things explode. Talk, reconcile, reach out before it's too late. Jesus wasn't just trying to keep people out of court. He was trying to keep their hearts soft. Most wars in life could be prevented if we just learned to talk early, honestly, and humbly. 7. Peace is the mark of God's kingdom. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. John 14:27. The world gives peace as a treaty, a deal, a ceasefire. Jesus gives peace as a gift, a deep, unshakable calm that doesn't depend on circumstances. This kind of peace makes you unbothered by offense, unshaken by betrayal, unmoved by provocation. It's not just about the absence of conflict, it's about the presence of Jesus. 8. Overcome evil with good. Though spoken by Paul, this reflects the very spirit of Jesus. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Romans 12:21. You don't overcome war with more war. You don't end hate with more hate. You rise above. Jesus showed us that real strength is not retaliation. It's redemption. To bless when you could curse. To give when you could take. To love when you could walk away. That's the way of Christ. 9. Forgive 70 times. 7. Peter asked Jesus how many times he should forgive someone. 7 times, he offered. Jesus replied, not 7, but 70 times 7. Matthew 18:22. Jesus was saying, don't count, just keep forgiving. Because forgiveness isn't weakness, it's a weapon against bitterness. And without forgiveness, every relationship becomes a battleground. If you want peace in your home, your marriage, your friendships, it starts with forgiveness. 10. Let the Prince of Peace lead you. Hundreds of years before Jesus walked the earth, Isaiah called him the Prince of Peace. Isaiah 9:6. Not the Prince of Vengeance, not the Prince of Power, but peace. His kingdom is not one of domination, but restoration. He rules not with an iron fist, but with open hands. When you let Jesus lead your life, peace begins to rule your heart. And when peace rules your heart, war loses its grip on you. 11. The strongest move is peace, even before the battle begins. Let's revisit one of Jesus's often overlooked parables, not about sheep or coins or vineyards, but about war. He said, suppose a king is about to go to war against another king. Won't he first sit down and consider whether he is able with 10,000 men to oppose the one coming against him with 20,000? If he is not able, he will send a delegation while the other is still a long way off, and will ask for terms of peace. Luke 14:31-32. Now think about this. Jesus isn't teaching military strategy. He's teaching emotional intelligence, relational wisdom, spiritual discernment. Before the battle even begins, the wise king pauses and reflects. He counts the cost, and if he realizes he's not in a position to win, or that the cost will be too great, he sends messengers of peace before the battle lines are even drawn. This isn't cowardice. This is courage. This is maturity. This is what spiritual strength looks like. How many wars have we started in our hearts because we didn't pause first? How many relationships could have been saved if we had just sent an emissary, a message of grace, an honest apology, a humble invitation, instead of launching a full-on attack? How often do we let our pride go to war when our wisdom should have made peace? Jesus is inviting us to be the kind of people who don't just fight better, but who live better. People who value peace not just as a last resort, but as a first priority. And here's the secret. It's not always the strongest who win the war. It's the wisest who avoid it. Jesus' teaching is clear. If the battle is unnecessary, if reconciliation is possible, if peace can be made, then make peace before the first blow is ever struck. Because sometimes the most heroic thing you can do is not to win the war, but to prevent it. Friend, war might be knocking at your door. Maybe not the kind with guns and bombs, but the kind in your family, your marriage, your business, your church, your mind. Before you declare war, pause. Before you retaliate, breathe. Before you burn that bridge, remember the cross. Jesus taught us not just how to win arguments, but how to win hearts. He taught us not just how to fight, but how to forgive. And he showed us the most powerful way to stop a war is to make peace before it begins, because true strength is not in how loud you shout, but in how deeply you love. Because the most unstoppable person in any room is the one who brings peace where others bring fire. Let Jesus be your teacher. Let peace be your legacy. If this message stirred something in you, if you've been at war in your own heart, in your home, or in your relationships, today is the day to make peace. Send that message, make that call, offer that forgiveness. Be the first to apologize. Be the first to stop the fight. Be the first to act like Jesus. Because that's not weakness. That's eternal courage. Like, share, and subscribe for more motivational messages that could change your life for good. And remember, the world doesn't need more warriors. It needs more peacemakers. Are you ready to be one?